So I was planning on making this video on my self-improvement journey by this month of October. How I went from that to this and stuff like that. And coincidentally, Hamza puts up this contest on the same topic. And I was like, this is a great chance to meet the Brotherhood, so I might as well participate. Now, getting started, I just want to say if you want to watch when I actually started developing myself, you can skip to this part of the video. But if you're interested in my story and wish to learn something from it as well, you're welcome to watch. My name is Yunav DC, and this is how I began my self improvement journey. So, a massive portion of my life regarding self development has been me learning through my mistakes and experiences I've had in my life, which includes the downfalls. And one of the massive downfalls I've had was back 6 years ago in 2017 when I broke my tooth in a bicycle accident. However, that is not the actual downfall, although it is a loss, but that is what led to the real downfall in this case. And yes, it is true. One of my teeth here is fake. Can you guess it? And no, I'm not going to tell you about it right now, but if you want to know more about it, then you can see this video where you can also learn about leveling up your confidence and get some insights about my tooth story as well. So, getting back to the topic, I was 14 years old and that left me with huge loss in confidence, especially when it came to speaking in public without my tooth. And of course, my appearance and form of speech was altered too, and people made fun of me for it. And no one wants to be made fun of. Not you, not me either. But I had no way to deal with it. I couldn't stand up for myself. I was a shy kid, afraid as well. And I surely felt bad. Then, after a while, I thought to myself, what can I do about it? Because I can blame them all I want, but they would still make fun of me. So I decided to start exercising. I didn't know I was improving, and basically, I didn't do it to improve on myself either. I just needed a way out of the mess, and exercise was the way to go. And slowly, as time passed, my friends at school who made fun of me started noticing the difference and appreciating me for working on my body. Some were even surprised. But suddenly, I had some amount of respect from other people. It was nice to have, but some would still make fun of my tooth. However, by that time, I had learned to accept myself about my tooth, that it cannot be changed. And even if someone made fun of it, I was like, okay, it's a part of me now. So that went on for a while. I continued on with my exercises and eventually became a fit kid among other kids. What happened after was a series of good times, and I got myself a girlfriend at that age. So I'm not going to go into the details, but here's what happened. Long story short, as the saying goes, hard times create strong men, then good times arrive, and good times result in weakness. So I got comfortable and weak. I stopped exercising and I stopped focusing on my goals, my ambitions, and just fully invested my time and energy into her. Then it's pretty clear I lost her. Thankfully, our strings were not quite firmly attached, so I didn't feel much of pain. But it was still a hard time for me, and I could only find myself collapsing if I didn't put in the work. So I again got into sports as a form of distracting myself, and then started living my own life eventually. After a year or so, I was in ninth grade, and by that time, I had been quite popular around the school. I followed my passion, spoke to girls frequently, and maintained a good social environment around guys as well. But little did I know, the pride of it all was consuming me. I was ignorant, naive, egoistic, and lacked humility. Moreover, I had no sense of boundary as well. But I was still popular and I was still working on my physical fitness. Then, after a while, I proposed to another girl, to which she said yes. We had a good time together. It lasted well around 6 months. Then, guess what? I hadn't learned anything. I was again caught in the vicious cycle of comfort and pleasure, which led to another breakup. Of course, it was only a matter of time before she left me. And she did. after 6 months. But I wouldn't blame her for it. After all, I was the one that lacked everything. But at that time, I was still too ignorant and naive to see the truth, even after a breakup. 16 at the time, I would constantly indulge myself in bad habits, junk food, porn, and all. This downfall was bad enough, and I was sad all the time because of losing the girl I loved so dearly. I didn't want to work or even play sports with my brothers. Simply put, nothing interested me, and I was just lonely all the time. I didn't want to go out or play or do anything besides cope with all the bullshit I mentioned above. Little did I know, I was about to enter a new phase of life. And no, it was not a good one. I will never forget this time of my life. It lasted for over a year and completely destroyed me. I even mentioned this on my previous video, in which I did 500 push ups. I call this the darkest phase of my life so far. It killed me from inside, left me broken, but it's also the one that taught me the reality of life, and also the one which would build me up later. Life was never the same again. So, this is how it goes. I was typically a fit guy, and no matter how much bad habits I indulged in, I would redeem myself over and over again on physicality. But one thing crucial I forgot was mentality. I realized that later in life, how much of an idiot I was back then. I was this dumb giant in this classroom. A sad, dumb giant. Moreover, I still hadn't recovered from my heartbreak, and there was something far more tragic waiting for me. Now, because I was lonely and sad from inside, although I didn't show it to anyone, I started behaving quite weirdly around other people. That was not typically me. And no one wants to be friends with a weirdo, so I was treated accordingly, outcasted. But at that time, it didn't really matter, since I was already feeling lonely. But as time passed, I craved social affection, and I desperately went for it. But obviously, people treated me even more weirdly. That went on for a while, and one day, one of my friends at that time came up to me. And I don't really remember what happened, but I think he was testing how naive I was. And I failed the test, I guess. So after that, I was constantly taken advantage of in exchange for laughs and jokes. However, I thought I was making more friends through it and having a good time. But later on, I realized what was actually happening. I realized I was the joke. I was their joke, and now it was too late. The guys would form a group, have me in it, and simply all of them would turn against me after some time. I was constantly bullied, I had my things stolen, and I was beaten every now and then. It was a horrible experience. And shit doesn't end there. Even some of the teachers would turn against me once in a while. I remember this. It happened several times, and whenever the class was disturbed, the teacher would come up to my bench and ask me who was making the noise. All the guys around me pointed their fingers at me, like this. I was the guy. I would be like, no, they were bullying me and trying to fight me. So I tried to defend myself. And the teacher would say, why are you lying? They seem so innocent. How can anyone bully you? You're so big and strong. And then he would either beat me or scold me or send me out of the class. Essentially, that's where I learned two things. Never trust the system, especially never trust the system to help you, even if you're right. Second, majority wins. if you're weak and vulnerable. So you need to get out of the system and be on top of those majority people to be unassailable. You must hold your own cards. Betrayal is inevitable when faced with the opposition. But even if I learned those things, I, c- I didn't know how to apply it because I just didn't have the right kind of mentality at the time. I was still weak. Of course, if you're saying I could just cut those people out of my life, I tried to do it several times. Every time I got out of the group and tried to socialize with someone else, they would bully that kid next to me, and afterwards, me furthermore. So no one would want to sit with me in the first place. It was like the whole class couldn't compete against these guys, and they used their brain in bullying to turn every single thing, every single person against me. And now the whole fucking class started bullying and disrespecting me. Even if I sat alone, I was bullied all around the fucking class. Fuck it, I couldn't tell the teachers because ultimately they would turn on me as well. And I didn't trust them after their previous behavior towards me. So that was the case. I broke down, it didn't matter. I was depressed, anxious all the time, afraid, nervous, paranoid, insomniac, and whatnot. They could see it all, but they didn't care. One of them even said that their master plan is working. They were highly intelligent socially. And as time passed, their bullshit grew more and more and even more. I was tossed here and there, pushed around like a nobody, and I still remember I could barely even hold back my tears inside the classroom. I desperately tried not to display myself as weak in front of other people, but I failed. I broke down at least 4 to 5 times because it was just too much. I would go back home and immediately burst in tears every single day for more than a year. All my feelings bottled up, and I still had to have the courage to get back up and ride to my school, where I knew things were not going to be any different, rather, worse. However, giving up was not an option for me, even though I just wanted to die. Even though I just wanted to die, I couldn't afford it. Can you imagine? That was my life. But one day, near the end of the session, I had enough of it. While they were bullying me, I stood up, fucking smacked them, looked them all in the eye, and said, I'm going to be the greatest one day, and you will see. Remember my name. I'm Yunav, DC. I don't know what got into me at that moment, but I was dead serious. They were silent for a while and, yeah, continued with their typical bullying. But I felt good. For the first time, I stood up for myself. And if I can do that once, I can do it again, I said to myself. I learned to stand up for myself. I stopped being naive. I was not afraid anymore. That's why I'm not villainizing them in this context either. To be honest, when I look back at all those moments, I only feel grateful. Because what I learned from that incident, I would have to learn it anyways in the real world, to survive in the real world. Because world is just that way, ruthless and cruel. So either be dangerous yourself or crumble. I learned it early and in a hard way. Yes, I was still stupid, but it was only a matter of time before I changed myself. The end of 10th grade was near, and I ended their bullying myself. I was not even afraid to hit them in their face if they tried some shit on me again. I basically reclaimed my honor. Then, after 10th grade, I left the school. I learned many things, but there was still this feeling of loneliness. I was still sad. After a month of spending time alone, getting to know myself better, I was off to a new start. It was 2019. I was still depressed, still not much progress, and highly affected by all the suffering I had faced. I didn't know what hope felt like. I just kept my belief in God and that He will show me the way out of this. I would lay there on my bed, looking up at the sky, just imagining just about whatever. My life colorless and me clueless about the present and the future. I was like a leaf floating around in a river with no idea of where it is and where it's gonna end up. Then, one day, when I was praying to God, I suddenly heard a voice in my head that told me to go for music. That's how you get out of all this. And I remembered I had a guitar which I hadn't played over a year. I had totally forgotten about it, so I went for it. And then to this day, I follow music as a religion. It was an outlet for me, and to be honest, I wasn't good in it initially. I sucked at music. You can see my first cover video, which was uploaded on May 2, 2019. However, that was the biggest day of my life. And I feel quite happy that I uploaded because as soon as I did, I got hooked onto music and I would work day and night, every single day, even if I was sick, to improve on my music. I did not hold myself back. Eventually, I got better with time, and although it has been a while since I stopped uploading on YouTube, I plan to return to it now, show the world how much I've improved over time. So, for all those people who are in similar scenarios where they just can't find a way out of their mess, or just feel stuck and can't figure out their life, my advice would be to go for an outlet. Have at least one thing that you would stick to as a religion, be it sports or music or arts, gym, whatever it be. Just go for it, even if you suck initially, even if the world says you can't. Believe in yourself and never allow yourself to quit. Prove the world wrong. Eventually, you'll find your place in life as well. You see, if I didn't upload that first video, worrying about what the world would say about me or what people would think about me, I would have never made progress, even in music, let alone life. And the video you're watching right now would never be here as well. God showed me the way, and I blindly followed it, believing I will succeed. But it's not like I had any support for it. I was bombarded with criticism. My own dad said I wasn't good enough and wouldn't be able to make it far in the music industry. And yeah, he was right. I wasn't good enough at the time. But I was determined to prove him wrong, anyhow. Now, at the present, he understands and can see the effort I put in, how far I've come from that day, and all those people who criticized me for my voice and my singing now praise me for it and look up to me as well. But I've still got a long way to go. I've still got a long way to go to succeed and to prove myself to my father and to the whole world. I'm aiming higher than other people can imagine. They would call me crazy, a fool for it. But regardless, I will succeed. I wish to see you guys at the top as well. Never give up. Understand? Never. So, continuing with my story, I had passed my school and then it was time I went to high school. There, I was still trying to find myself out of all the mess. I still had no hope. Just the belief inside me kept me moving forward. Then, one day, magic happened. I met a girl. She was like no other. Beautiful hair, beautiful face. Everything about her was so beautiful. And I still remember that time when I was so astonished. It felt like I was astonished for the first time ever in my life. She was extremely beautiful. And forget the looks. This girl is like no other. Of course, she is beautiful on the outside, but her heart is just so pure and lovely. I just can't explain. When I met her, I felt something new. It was colorful and full of joy. It was hope. Hope for love, hope for future, hope for life, hope for family. Fast forward 2 years, and we're now together in a healthy and beautiful relationship. The only enemies to this relation is distance and social medias, and of course the modern world. But it wasn't easy for her as well. I was still weak when we first got into a relationship, and she suffered because of me. I was wrong towards her, and I didn't deserve her at all. But she stayed. That was all I needed. That was all I needed, then I changed. She became my drive, my reason to work harder than I ever did. And to this day, I never stopped pushing. And I know she's watching this video right now. To you, my woman, I just want to say, I love you with all my heart. 642020. Now, it has been 1 year since I've gotten into this holistic self-improvement. And she has been a great part of my self-improvement journey. So have been the brothers who stayed by my side and refused to leave, even in my worst of times, while also giving me the space to grow. My family, my mother and father, were always there for me. All the people who still are. And of course, Hamza. How I found him was when I actually got into a period of monk mode. I would remain productive all day, read books, exercise, create ideas, practice music, all that. And few times a day, I would watch several educational content on YouTube. And one day, all of a sudden, Hamza pops up in my feed with an intriguing face, seemingly sort of familiar, like a South Asian guy on my feed with some relating content. And I was like, who is this guy? Do I know him? And well, that's when I first started watching his videos. It was about 8 or 9 months ago, and I absolutely loved the kind of content he was pushing out to this young generation. Personally, he helped me understand the concept of self-improvement in detail, also about nofap and stuff like that. And I also found him as someone who resonated with my own principles and ideals, as well as someone who taught me values and morals that I had little idea about. And to Hamza, if you're watching this video, I just want to say, you're like a big brother to me. Familiar in some sense, to be honest, but yeah, still got a lot to learn from you, man. And I see this community as a brotherhood. And if you are not there, of course, I would have still achieved what I wanted to. But it would have taken me much longer compared to where I am now because of you. So I'm really grateful that you're here. And you know this better than me. Brotherhood is just that important in men's lives. And I think I heard this from you. Men need each other, whether to grow or to hold each other accountable or to simply exist in a safe scenario. Other than that, huge respect, man. Keep up the good work. And congratulations on 1 million subscribers. You've taught me many things, Hamza, and I'm thankful for all of them. I'm proud of you. Proud of you, man. Huge respect again. So, getting back to my story, it has been 1 year since I've gotten into this holistic journey, and this has been a turning point in my life. My physique, my mentality, my relationship with people, especially with my family and friends, with my woman, have all so drastically improved, and I cannot be more grateful. On top of that, you can see how I've already turned myself from being a consumer to now a creator. And it's gonna get better and better. Life is just gonna get better and better. So, lastly, before I end this video, my message to you guys would be consume less, create more. And when you do consume, limit that time to getting valuable consumption from healthy sources like books, courses, meetings, etc. And find a way to create value that can prove to be helpful to this world or in small scale to your family and friends. That's it for this video. If you liked it, you can subscribe to see similar videos like this. And I, Yunav DC, will be seeing you in the next one. Good luck.